Recording, right?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today I'm gonna read to you Saturnastra Marduke. We're in chapter 9, part 1, at the start of the chapter. It's called tea time. Let me lower it a bit so I don't have to scream over the music. After another 6 months, my troops were assembled in the courtyard. That day, the main horde of the army was assembled in the training grounds. This was going to be our first campaign, our first official campaign. Bertaman stood at the top of the steps. That day he spotted a bloody red armor. It was from what I heard, his battle armor was literally made from the bones and scales of a red dragon. Judging by the decorated horns and massive plate scales, I did not question this fact. Once again I noticed that strange, anachronistic stone. I was appalled at the sight of the huge executioner's axe he carried. It had a wide, massive blade, and at its tip it had a pointy red star-shaped jewel. At first I thought he was going to give a speech. However, he simply gave out our orders. Apparently, a stupid elf tribe had refused to pay tribute. Bertaman had sent a messenger to collect what they owned for the privilege of living in his world. Naturally, the elves were shocked by his presumption. The response they sent back with the messenger was an arrow. My orders were to scout their forces and to weed out the traps they had laid out. After this brief overview, they gave us horses and we rode out together. Belladonna, our elf elder, journeyed with us. The journey lasted about a month. During that time, we rested in the dozen cities that paid tribute to Bertaman. By the end of the month, we arrived at this new territory. The forest was called Nutere. It was thought to have been abandoned. Recently, elves had been spotted there. According to spies, the elves had avoided detection despite 5,000 years thanks to their magic. Internal strife had revealed their presence to the rest of the world. Bertaman figured that they owed him at least 1 million gold coins for existing in this world without his permission. I was not too thrilled at being chosen as the advance party to weed out the magical traps of the elves. Still, I obeyed the orders that they were giving me. I chose a small group to come with me. They were composed of Ivy, Bruna, Fletcher, and Juvia. Juvia was one of the few girls that had survived from our group. She was very small and petite. Unlike Abby, she kept her long black hair long. She always took care to maintain her beautiful look. Despite her vanity, she was always very swift. She was always fleet-footed and quite a skilled marksman. For battle, she wore a light leather armor. The complete set reminded me of an outfit of a Roman legionnaire. As for Fletcher, he was a literal hairball. At the tender age of 15, he had a full beard and mustache. His arms and legs were also very hairy. To make matters worse, he wore a bear pelt over his steel armor. I brought with me for this mission a bow and some daggers and a longsword, in order to prepare for any eventuality. We searched the forest for 2 days and found no trace of the old city. The huge army camped outside the forest had alerted them all to the danger. From time to time, a shower of arrows would rain down upon us. We eluded such arrows sent to our shields. Once the rain would stop, we would try to chase after the swords. However, the elf warriors would vanish into the mist. By the 3rd day, we were losing patience. Suddenly, we saw a strange clearing in the woods. A pretty elf girl was having tea in the middle of the forest. She seemed to be at least 10 years old. Her hair was honey-colored. Her amber eyes were large and almond-shaped. She wore an immaculate white dress with a cape held together by 2 golden medallions. Juvia whispered to me, "Do you want me to shoot her?" "No, don't. This is too fishy," I answered to her. "What now, sir?" asked Fletcher. "Wait here. I am going to spring the trap." Slowly, I walked across the bushes. I took care not to make any noise. When I was within earshot, the girl waved think so. She's my little sister Wooden. I answered, sitting down in an empty chair. As a matter of fact, there were empty chairs for all of us. Perplexed, we sat down to have tea with my sister. Musing a little, I said, "You look different." "Yes, Grandma made me a potion to turn me temporarily into an elf. Grandma is very interested in the secret herbs that grown by these elves," she answered. In a pained voice, she added, "Looking like an elf has been no help at all. Those pesky lords keep the best ingredients to themselves." "Perhaps there is a way we can come to an agreement," I said to my sister. "You help us break the magic barrier and we'll help you get your herbs," she added, "and whatever useful magical tome you can find." "I'm not too certain about that promise. Bertha has always had an interest in magical books," I responded. My sister looked disappointed. "Oh yeah, the time?"
8 minutes.
She then asked, "Can I take just a single book? Pretty please. I bet Bertha won't miss one miserable book." "Fine," I said. Wooden was thrilled after hearing my promise. She took out from under the table a wine bottle. The label read Torrontes. When she started pouring us a drink, we saw that its red contents were bubbling. It also exhumed a strange white mist. Smiling, she said, "This potion will turn you into an elf for a day. I want you hardy boys to go in and secure me the high priest grimoire. He keeps it secure in his temples. I will have fetched it myself, however I have no powers in their temple dedicated to Heli. Do this to me and I'll disable the shield and all the traps." I asked Wooden, "How will I recognize the book?" "His honor carries him with him all the time," responded Wooden. Ivy added, "What does the high elf look like?" "He walks around blessing people and saying prayers for them. Only his favorites are allowed to kiss the ends of his robes. It is said that his shadow heals the sick. He won't be hard to miss." After this brief exposition, my sister rose her teacup and drank from him. This renewed her transformation. I said to Ivy, "Return to Bertha and tell him that we found a way inside. In 30 hours, if not sooner, the baby and the traps will be disabled." Ivy left following my command. Afterwards, we drank the potion. Frankly, it tasted like regular wine. I looked at my friends and they looked at me. Indeed, we had become cute, adorable elves. Even our equipment had suffered the same metamorphosis. It was more elvish looking, and everything seemed to have been whitewashed. Our hair and faces, too, were almost identical to Wooden's elven form. Perplexed, Juviet asked, "Why has our gear changed? Don't potions usually only affect our bodies?" Laughing, Wooden said, "Relax, magic potions are weird like that. One time Grandma drank a potion and the guy she was fighting dropped dead." Shaking her head in disbelief, Julia said, "That makes no sense at all." Crossing her arms, Wooden responded, It does make sense. It is a magic potion. We're wasting time. Wooden, take us into the old city," I said, rising. Wooden too rose and she made a curtsy. She started walking into the woods. For an hour, we walked in circles. Eventually she stopped. She raised her hand and parted the forward scenery before as if it was a curtain. Beyond it, we saw the city of the elves. We walked inside and she followed along. I was surprised to see many marble buildings in ruins. Every so often, a large battalion of elves would march across the street. Seeing our surprise, she said, "These elves have been in a civil war for the last 30 years. From what I heard, the dark elves that live on the ground have been performing periodic raids on the highborns. They will rise again to the night. That will be your chance to sneak into the temple and steal the book. There are still 6 hours until sunset. For now, I suggest we go to Mass." "Won't that put us in risk?" asked Julia. "Nah, don't worry. For His Highness, every low-born elf looks the same. He will notice the addition of 5 strangers," she said, reassuring us. She added, "Once we enter, do as I do and don't say a word to anyone." Together we walked across the ruin. All over the street we saw sobbing women and children. Eventually we made our way into one of the buildings still in one piece. The building was a spiraling white tower. Its outside was decorated with beautiful elf colors, each one more detailed than the last. The roof was pointed up and it had a golden star at the roof. It seemed to glisten from whence we stood. The entrance was widely open. Inside we saw a group of kneeling elves. In a second-floor balcony, I saw whom my sister had mentioned. Sitting in a golden throne decorated with golden leaves and flowers sat the high priest. His cold, blank stare brought chills down my spine. There sat a man even more cold-hearted than Berthaman. His visits too disconcerted my friends. My sister said to us in a low voice, "Kneel down and keep your head low. It is forbidden for us lowlanders to look upon His Majesty." We kneel down and we place our hands in prayer position. The Mass features psalm, prayer, and sermon. During this time, we looked around for any doors that might lead higher up. I was disappointed to see that the room had no doors or stairs that led to the higher floors. The light entered from some circular high windows and from the open gate. At the end of the sermon, we rose together. We parted aside and saw some soldiers bringing in a young maiden. Time, bro?
3 minutes and 54 seconds.
They brought her before the balcony. Suddenly, a bit of fire opened before her. The guards stripped the maiden down. While the high priest spoke, the maiden cried. One of the guards pointed to 2 moles on her back, and then they threw her into the pit of flame. Even today, I could still hear her screams of agony in my nightmares. The vapors that rose from her carcass were inhaled by the high priest and his attendants, who spoke words of magic. Afterwards, the group was dispersed. When we were outside, Bruno asked angrily, "Why did they burn the pretty lady?" "Moles are sinful," explained Wooden. Chuck Fletcher said, "These elves are insane." "Forget about it. We need to find a way up the tower," I said, bringing them back on page. After saying this, we circled the tower. Time, bro?
3 minutes.
There was not an entrance inside. Eventually, we concluded that the entrance was sealed with magic. I figured that we would have to scale the tower at night. With this resolution, Wooden invited us to have some tea with some of her friends. Across the tower, there was a little diner made of wood decorated with flowers. The place was partly burned on one side. There, a few waitresses were serving tea to the few customers that remained. We sat in an empty table. Wooden poured a few golden coins on the table that were picked up by a waitress wearing immaculate white robes. The old waitress served us some tea in clean cups. She later brought cakes and other sweets we had never tasted before. These lovely little snacks gave us a bit of a sugar rush. By nightfall, we were all very eager to climb the tower. Late at night, we felt the walls and the statues. With a knife, I stabbed one of the elf statues. From the wound, it poured blood into the floor. I removed the knife, and the wounded statue healed. Wooden looked at the column statue and said, "That's an interesting trick." "It doesn't matter," I answered. "As long as the knives hold, we can climb our way up the tower." Bruno made a gesture to his sister and said, "Get on my back, I will carry you." "I'd rather not. I think, he gestured to my sister. "Get on my back, I will carry you." And then she said, "I'd rather not. I think I will create a distraction. Now, climb up, and once you made it inside, I will start performing some flashy magic." Saying this, she disappeared into the darkness. Glancing at the darkness, Fletcher said, "Your sister's a little creepy." After saying this, we climbed up the tower. An hour later, we made it to one of the second-floor windows. The window was locked. I looked inside and saw that it led to a deserted hallway. Slowly, I pushed the window and tried to get inside. I then punched through the glass and tried to open the safe that was on the other side. The glass started to heal around my hand, and I was forced to pull it back outside. The noise at least attracted somebody. Hearing his footsteps, I climbed towards the side of the window, and one of the priests opened the window and looked around. The second he saw me, I sliced his neck. His body fell out of the window and splashed on the pavement. In the darkness, my sister dragged his body away. Not daring to wait for more to arrive, I slipped inside. I then made a gesture for the others to follow. Once we were inside, I closed the window behind our group. Time?
30 seconds.
Bye-bye and God bless.